Alright guys, we finished the 4 matches. The Bant human deck won kind of decisively, 1-3 in matches and 7-4 in games. Looking at the decks, I still wouldn't really know what to change on the black-green side to help improve the matchup, to be honest. I mean, the problematic cards, in my opinion, seem to be Tragic Arrogance to address, and I think we can't do more about the Displacer Arrogance part than we already do with the removal and bring in some...
They're obviously very important to fly over all your chump blockers. I also did bring in the Lantern Scout and the Arrogances as a matchup because in a long game he's probably gonna grind me out with Cutthroats, so I want as much evasive creatures as possible. That's why I'm in one game at least, where Tragic Arrogance clearly won. I was taking out 2 Tireless Trackers as they are medium impact and they're pretty expensive.
Yeah, they're kind of slow, I agree with that.
As well as the 3 Duskwatch Recruiters, because they're basically Grizzly Bears, as I do not have the time to spend 3 mana searching for a creature. So they're basically way weaker than the Den Protectors, so it's just like a 2-drop swap. And I also did board out 2 Thraben Inspectors, as they're, I guess, not the most efficient attacker. It's cool to have a 1-drop, but it gets stalled by a Lone Dryad by itself, or a Catacomb Sifter or whatever, so they're not that great either, and an arrow, and I can't really afford to pass open.
Yeah, and it's pretty clunky, and it's a miss for company. So, also guys, really sorry about not doing all the things at once, and we didn't really find a good way to fix it, so I hope it's bearable. We will try to improve that in the future if we're gonna do more testing versus videos like this, but this time we couldn't really get it any better than this. Hope it's not too bad. So you didn't bring in Cigada, right? Probably because it's too slow, even though it's evasive.
Yeah, Cigada is 5 mana. I want to do.
You're breaking up there.
Slow, and the impact of it is not that good. I rather play 2-drop and put Griff's Bone on it. It's way more.
Yeah, that's probably right. I can see that. There's also a Blister Pod usually, and some number of Duskwatch Recruiters for the 4 removal, and 2 to 3 Transgress. I'm wondering if I might even want 4 Transgress in the matchup just to hit your high impact cards, because yeah, I'm feeling kind of the power level gap in the matchup. My overall impression is that while strategy-wise I should be favored, and my strategy is kind of superior to yours, my strategy is so much lower in power level compared to the execution of your strategy that it gives you the advantage in the matchup against and you also have enough combat impairment and removal that I'm usually just getting overwhelmed too quickly, more often than not. Unlike, for example, against mono white, the small aggressive humans, where my creatures match up better against theirs, and there's less of a power level gap on it.
On your turn and still search with Duskwatch Recruiter, that feels kinda unfair. But as soon as I got the evasion cards, I feel hugely favored, as my creatures are so much bigger than yours, and you can basically not really race me.
Yeah, also the Cryptolith Rites plan is very unlikely to happen against the 4 Dromokus command deck, which is why I have to take them out.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, yeah, if I kill a Cutthroat and a Cryptolith Rites with the Dromokus commands, that's a huge blowout. But I don't know, I feel if you can stick a Cryptolith Rites, I'm way behind. If I not have the command instantly, I'm pretty behind, because then I cannot keep up. We had one game where you got Cryptolith Rites and I got Displacer and Reflector Mage, but I could only bounce once a turn, and you just did everything with Cryptolith Rites plus Duskwatch Recruiter. I had no chance.
Yeah, but I felt you might have misplayed that game. I think you maybe should have started using Displacer earlier instead of playing the tracker that you did and stuff, because I would have been kind of scared of you like locking me in place where I was at that point, and you just gave me like more time to develop onto the board before the Displacer like got relevant.
Yeah, that I want to play the tracker first and then control you out with Displacer, as I didn't feel like if I just do Displacer every turn, I'm not gonna win, and that's how I'm gonna lose if I don't put anything on the board.
Yeah, I mean, I think I ended up losing that game anyway, so it didn't matter that much, because you ended up getting to like double Displacer, and I had like no profitable attacks because Displacer Reflector Mage fucks me up in combat.
Yeah, what I want to say is what I also felt like before, that I maybe want to play Griff's Boon main deck. It also really would help in dead matchups game 1, because I felt really...
Yeah, that's definitely an option.
And what I also really want to say, I felt like all the time the worst card you could play was always Catacomb Sifters if I did not play it Stelios to hand before. And it puts 2 creatures on the board, so I'm fine trading like 3 of your weak creatures for 2 of my good ones with the Husk. So I didn't feel like Husk was really good in that matchup, especially if I also have Displacers. Maybe you should board out some Husks, but I'm not sure. Maybe the card is too important. I didn't play with that deck a lot, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you still kind of need them for the cutthroat kills, and I don't really think they are like that terrible that they are worse than most of the other cards, so you board them out, but I don't know. I mean, it's not like I have time to keep in Duskwatch Recruiters and start Duskwatch Recruitering, for example, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's maybe you can consider cutting one, but even that might be wrong, because it's still probably like a necessary evil. The card is just like not that great, but that's like kind of the thing. All my cards are kind of like way worse than your counterparts, and that's part of the problem. It's really a stretch, but we can't do it without. So yeah, the feeling that I get is, while I'm still pretty happy with the black-green deck against apparently even the control decks, as we saw in the league, and decks like aggro humans, like the small humans, and green-white tokens, the Bant humans matchup is way worse than I hoped and thought. So if you expect a reasonable amount of Bant humans, I would definitely recommend not playing black top decks in the format. But yeah, the Bant human deck just crushes you too much. So basically, it is very possible that Bant humans might just instead of the green-black sacrifice deck. But it's definitely worth keeping in mind if there's matchups that you like less with Bant humans. And green-black seems pretty good, because I think it might be more convincing especially against aggro humans, because the aggro humans matchup felt kind of so-so for me with Bant humans, and the green-white tokens matchup, I'm not sure if and how much better it is with black-green, but it definitely felt like a favorable matchup to me with black-green so far. Yeah, so any last words from you, Frederick? I mean, they do very different things, but they have similar matchups, I guess.
Yeah, I guess one matchup where the green-black sacrifice deck is way better than the Bant humans decks are those Sultai mid-range decks, where you don't know which part of the deck they draw. One part is Languish, the other one is Sylvan Advocates, Tireless Trackers, and Dragonlord Silumgars. So this is, I felt like, a really unfavorable matchup, because if you do the wrong thing, they're just gonna destroy you. So I think the green-black deck is way better against that one, but overall,
you think it's favored against White Weenie?
50, but it's still pretty good. And yeah, I guess that's it. So
okay then. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that kind of like testing session. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see like a match less, a match more, if you like the format in general, or if you have like recommendations, like changes that you would like me to to make to the format in the future, and if there's maybe even like matchups that you want to see me play with Frederick, or maybe not, keep that in mind as a possible kind of video to make in the future to bring you some live testing basically. Alright, see you soon guys.
See ya.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.